Okay, who is Lanie J? Lanie J. Wig he push back, neck he kicks that, lick from head to toe, boy I like that. Body's all wet, jet ready to set. Mile High Club with them bottles of Moet. He got me snapping like he's such a poet. Don't stop now, baby, pour it. Got my feet up on the chair, I'm for it. Got his head between my thighs, oh yeah. So many things that I can say about myself as a person, as an artist, as a mom, as a sibling, as an auntie, as the list goes on and on. I am a go-getter. I am a hustler. I am an entrepreneur. I, as my new EP title would say, unstoppable. I feel like there's so many words to describe me: determined, dream chaser. I have always been the type to never give up on my goals, and that is what has gotten me this far in my career. That is who I am. I'm very strong, I'm very passionate, I'm very caring, I'm very loyal, I'm very focused, and if I had to describe myself in a nutshell, that is who I am. That is Lanie J. Where did I grow up? I grew up in Crown Heights. I grew up in the, as they would say, the belly of the beast. Crown Heights, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, as they would say. Grew up around Utica, Schenectady, that area, born and raised in that area. I grew up with my grandmother. She's very well known in the community as the church lady. That's more of my Haitian side. And I grew up in a very strict and structured strict and structured environment. So as Jesse Wu would say, l'école, l'écaille, and l'église. That's basically how I grew up. I didn't know anything else. My church was at the corner. Like if you ever been to Utica and Crown, you know there's a big Haitian church right there at the corner, and that's the church that I grew up going to. And then I went to school, my elementary school, PS 221, and then I went to Wingate High School. So Crown Heights has been the what has raised me to be as strong as I am today. My grandmother didn't really play, so we didn't really grow up in the streets, and we didn't really get to play outside and do these things. She was very strict. Her and my grandfather, before he passed, was very strict, and all we was able to do was watch them kids play from outside. Like they didn't play that. Like we wasn't able to go play in anybody's streets. We wasn't even able to go play at anybody's house. We had to be home. We had to be studying. and you go to school and then you go to church and then that's it. Like, I used to be so jealous of the kids that were playing outside, our friends and all that stuff. Like, you know, I thought I was missing out, you know, until you grow up and you realize, like, you're not, you know, the streets is not what you want. Like, you wasn't missing nothing. So you kind of hated it, you hated it, but then, you know, as you mature, you understood why they were as stern as they were and why, you know, you wasn't in the streets like that. A lot of my friends are not even here today because they were in the streets at a young age. So I'm kind of, you know, glad that I was raised the way I was. What inspired me to do music? Like growing up with my family, you know, and especially growing up and being in church most of my life, like that's almost like every artist's story. Like they grew up in church or they have a musical background as far as like their family is concerned. And that's my story as well. Like grew up in church and all we did was sing together, harmonize. We would make up songs like this. Like me, my aunts, we would just make up songs. My aunts and my uncles, we would make up songs off the top of our heads that like a lot of people, like, you know, when the Braxtons came out, it was so funny because they reminded me so much of my family. Like we would just harmonize on cue, make up songs on cue, and I love that about us. And that is what truly inspired me to want to be in entertainment. Like I knew I wanted to be an entertainer somehow, some way. Like I didn't care what I had to do. I didn't care about what I had to do to make it into the business. I knew I wanted to be in entertainment. I knew I wanted to make it into the business. So that is what inspired me to want to push myself to be in entertainment. Was growing up with a musical family, growing up in church, loving music, writing since I was young. Like all of these things inspired me. Who inspired me? Who inspired me? I felt like I knew I was different. I felt like I knew that I wanted to touch people. I knew that I had a gift inside of me. I knew I was different from everybody in my family. Because though, you know, I came from the singing family who we sang every day, we made up songs and all that. Everybody did a 9 to 5. And not that I didn't do a 9 to 5. I did all those things. I knew that I wanted to entertain. Now I have singers and creative people, and a lot of people are just content with just doing their 9 to 5. Like they don't want to do anything more than that. Like, ooh, okay, I was blessed with a voice, I could sing, but I'm still gonna work my 9 to 5. Ooh, I know how to write music, but I'm still gonna work my 9 to 5. Like I knew that I wanted to entertain and I didn't want to do anything else. I knew that I didn't want to work for anybody else. I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to do it. So me being confined in a 9 to 5 space, nothing is wrong with that. Don't get me wrong, nothing is wrong with that. I've done that, like I said, but I knew that I wanted more for myself and I wanted more out of life. So just growing up the way that I did and with music, you know, all of my life, that is what inspired me to want to be in the entertainment industry. So my first time on the music scene, a lot of people don't know, before I even get into that, a lot of people don't even know that when I first started to get into entertainment, I wanted to be a stand-up comic. And as I was growing up, you know, I was always the one in the family making everybody laugh. I was always the ones with the jokes. I mean, I could have people peeling over. I knew that when it came to school, like, I wasn't gonna let anybody roast me. Like, there was no way nobody was going to ever get the last word. And when it came to me, nobody ever got the last word. I was the roasting queen. And so I thought, like, when I wanted to entertain, when I knew I wanted to be in entertainment, that I wanted to be in comedy. So what I would do is I would go to all these auditions. I would, signing up for casting calls. My mom had me signed up. When I told her what I wanted to do, she had me signed up in all these different casting agencies. And I thought it was going to be easy. I didn't know it was going to be that hard. You need headshots, you need this, you need that. Like, it was so crazy trying to break into the entertainment industry, because you hear all these stories like, oh, I was walking through the mall and then somebody saw me and thought like I looked like a star, and oh, I sent my tapes out and they sent it to this person and that person, and then I got signed. Like, you hear these stories, so you're thinking like, dang, that sounds easy. But when I was trying to do it, it was not easy at all. It was pretty hard. I did the comedy thing. I saw that it wasn't my passion, and then I got into writing. I started writing plays. I started entering into contests, and all those things were fun to do as well. But I still didn't feel like I was nailing what I'm destined to do. And then a friend of mine, who was a friend of mine at the time, had a deal, like a development deal going on, and he had hit me up and he asked me, to come in and help him with this artist that he's working with, to help her write a record. So when I came in, I wrote like, church stuff in the past, but I never really wrote, as they would call, secular, music. I didn't know the format. I didn't know about bars, and I didn't know where to begin or anything like that. And everything was just almost like a learn as I went. But I knew that I was good at writing. So when I got to meet the artist, the female artist, just offer a representation of what I look like, how I viewed her, how she talked, how she thought, it helped me to format, a awesome song for her. And she ended up loving the song, and I really felt like, dang, like maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm supposed to be doing music. Whether I'm supposed to be a writer or the artist, like I knew music was it. Like, I knew that's exactly what I wanted to do. And that's what I went for. Like, I just started gun-ho with music. I started booking more sessions with him. I started wanting to learn more about it, behind the scenes, what's like counting the bar, like how do you know when you're at a 16? But like, I wanted to know everything, and I just went gun-ho from there. So I decided to, he sent me the same friend that I was dealing with at that time sent me a beat, and he was like, I want you to write for this other artist, see what you can do. I rocked with the beat for days. I stayed with the beat for days. I was listening to it day and night, and I was like, I really like this beat. It's a little bit rough. It's like, it reminds me of like New York. Like, I really like the beat so much that I was like, I'm not gonna rap for the other person. Like, I'm not gonna do it as a reference track for the other person. I'm gonna try to see if I can keep this song for myself. So I went to a studio and I started to record on the beat, and I was like, all you hear is da-na-na-na-na-na. And I was like, niggas really got me on that dumb. I was like, niggas really Do About It became so big for me for the first time rapping that I was so overwhelmed by the response, for it to be received the way that it was, and people wanted more from me. I was just so excited, and I knew I had to bring more. I knew I had to get back in the studio and do more. Like, I couldn't even believe it was uploaded to Vlad TV's website, and it was just getting so much love, and I was just so excited, and I knew I had to do more. I knew I needed to do more, and I was so excited that I was introduced to this next person in my life who became such a big part of my life and who's still in my life to this day. So I meet Jimmy Blanco. And like I said, I'm usually weirded out about meeting new people and working with new people. But me and Jimmy hit it off right away, like instantly, which was so weird for me, but it was just so cool at the same time. So he, he ended up, realizing that I I need to loosen up, and I need to, realizing that I need to loosen up, and I need to, you know, get more into my creative juices when it comes to being in the studio. And what I liked about him is that he listened to me. What I liked about him was that he didn't judge me. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable. He was just like, let's have fun. And so I wanted to do a freestyle, and I came across this beat from, it was a Meek Mill beat. I think they said it was a diss track, but it was Repo, right? And then I ended up liking the beat, and I was like, Jimmy, what do you think about this? I was like, I want to do a freestyle about it. He said, what are you going to talk about? And I was like, I don't know, the beat is kind of rough. So I was like, it made me feel like, are you mad? And then I was just like, yeah, I want to talk about Are You Mad? And he was like, all right, go in the booth and see what you come up with. So I got in the booth, and then I just went crazy, and that's how Are You Mad came about.
It's Lanie J. Brooklyn, what up?
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah. Are you mad? Are you sick? Mad cause I'm thicker than thick? What the Mad cause I left with your bitch? Mad cause niggas stay on my dick? Are you mad cause a bitch getting rich? Taking trips out the country ain't shit.
Which was one of my highest viewed freestyle. Are You Mad? I started putting it out, and people just was going crazy because I was just talking so much crap. If you go on YouTube and type in Are You Mad, Lanie J, you will see what I'm talking about. And that song not only went crazy like every time I perform it, but that song also aired on the TLC channel when I did a reality show. So I was very proud of that. I was very proud that everybody liked that song. I was talking crazy on that song, and I was very proud that as a woman artist, as a female artist, I was able to talk my, ish on the record and not be judged about it. And it was well received by males and females. So that's how I came up with Are You Mad? After the success of Are You Mad, I was like, okay, I put out a couple of more freestyles. But people kept on saying, like, when are you going to put out your single? When are you going to put out a single? And I was just like, I had fun with the Do About It and had fun with the Are You Mad? But now you guys want a single? Like, what is going on here? Like, it's starting to become a lot. So, I ended up, doing some interviews. And I remember that during a lot of the interviews I was doing, a lot of them kept on asking me, like, who are you trying to sound like? Like, who are you trying to be? Are you trying to be the next Nicki Minaj? Or are you trying to be the next Little Kim and this and that? And I remember that though it's great to be compared to those type of female artists, I didn't want to be compared. Like, I wanted to be me. I wanted to sound like me. I wanted to look like me. I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand out. And I noticed that me just rapping doing regular hip hop music, how was that going to help me stand out? That wasn't going to help me stand out. I wanted to do something different. And I know that, you guys know that I'm Caribbean. And I was just like, you know what? I was influenced by Foxy Brown. And Little Kim and Queen Latifah and all them. But Foxy Brown stuck out to me the most. And the reason why Foxy Brown stuck out to me the most is when she did that Oh Yeah record. And she mixed rapping over a Caribbean type beat. And that really stuck out to me. I was like, well, first of all, the song was fire. And I was like, that is so different. Like, who would have thought to do that? So I knew that's something I wanted to do. I wanted to rap over Caribbean beats. So I hit up Chantella and I asked him to be a part of this song that I wrote called Fine Wine. And I'm so glad and so appreciative of him being a part of this song. Shout out to Jimmy Blanco and shout out to Chantella. This song kept me busy for 2 whole years. This song was such a big deal for me. This song was such a big deal that it got over 20K in just 3 weeks. And I was just so excited. My first big video, my first big production, my first big song, over 20K in 3 weeks. And I was so excited that everybody was really feeling this song.
He said, baby girl, never leave, you gotta stay. So rock, we pouring through the club tonight. So rock in my cup and I'm feeling light. Handed hit my number, said I gotta leave. Clock struck 12 and I fled the scene. Wine, 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 fine wine for me.
Just because of Fine Wine, they was expecting so much more. Like, they wanted to hear more from me. I was like, dang, is this really what I wanted to do? I didn't expect all this. I mean, I wanted it, but I didn't expect, all of this to come. And so I just kept on putting out little freestyles here and there and just kept on pushing off the idea of putting together an EP. I wouldn't even know where to start putting together an EP in the first place. I started getting so much inboxes from like supporters who was like, we really want like an album or something from your mixtape, something. And I was just like, I started learning about EPs. And I was just like, okay, that doesn't sound too bad. Like it could be 3 songs, 5 songs. And, there's no pressure on dates. I can put out the date whenever I want to. Like, okay, I can do this. I can handle an EP. Because an album, I'm thinking like you gotta have 10 songs plus, and ain't nobody got time for that right now. So I started putting together my EP, and I didn't have a title. I didn't have a blueprint or anything about where I was, like the direction I was gonna go, in with this EP. I was just basically gonna wing it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was gonna wing my way through the whole process, but I learned that I couldn't wing my way. I had to learn everything. I had to learn about different dealing with different producers, and if I wanted a feature, how that works, and studio time and paying for studio time. Like, I had to take this whole process seriously. And then I ended up stop procrastinating, and 5 years later, I came out with my first EP called About Time. And I feel like the title is so fitting because everybody was like, it's about time you came out with, more music. Like, we wanted to hear more from you. So I thought About Time was fitting. And I put in a lot of different types of music in there. So you have Afro dancehall, you have rap dancehall, and then you have rap compa from mixed culture, Haitian and Jamaican. And I thought like it would just be so cool to do a whole entire EP. Like, who has done that? Who has done a whole EP, with and rapping like over Caribbean beats the way I was doing it, like the way I was gonna do it. So I started putting together. I heard the beat for Bounce for the Rack, and I just went crazy over it. I was like, "Ooh, this is a nice Afro dancehall beat," and Bounce for the Rack came about. And
we ain't even gotta hit the club. Bring the club home, boy, give you a dub. Have a seat, show you what you miss. Show you I can be a little freak. And that's right, with the bands out. Rubber bands out. Niggas fucking good, call me Mrs. Clean. Body like a George, got him hooked like a couple lean. I bet your neighbors on my name. I bet your neighbors on my name now. I bet we moved from the shower, from the kitchen to the bedroom floor to your bed now. He like, damn girl, all that. Stop playing, boy, you know it's fat. And I'ma bounce for the racks, put them racks on my back, cause I like it like that. Bounce for the rack, 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 bounce for the rack. Show me where the money at. Bounce for the rack, 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 bounce for the rack. Show me where the money at. Got me bouncing for the rack. Boy, show me where your money at. Got me bouncing for the rack. Boy, show me where the money at. Got me bouncing for the rack. Got me bouncing for the rack, girl. Got me bouncing for the rack. Show me where the money at. Now he calling me for round 3. Room such a massacre, such a scene. Now you screaming like you Jodeci. Got him begging like you Jodeci. You want a lady in the streets, but a freak in the sheets. Double C's on my feet, double D's in the sheets. Now he look at me from head to toe. Where he stop, nobody know. I just wanna know if he looking for the pot of gold. And he had my heart so sold. And I wanna grow old with you. And I'm feeling like Beyonce. Cause you had me at a low light. Bounce for the rack, 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 bounce for the rack. Show me where the money at. Bounce for the rack, 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 bounce for the rack. Show me where the money at. Got me bouncing for the